All right, let's get into one of the wildest, most unbelievable stories in all of music history. Seriously, it's a tale about ambition, crazy amounts of deception, and two friends from Scotland who figured out that to make it, they had to become someone else, completely.
So it all boils down to this one question. It's 2001, and two buddies from Dundee, Gavin, Bain, and Billy Boyd, have this huge dream of being rap superstars. They've got the talent, they've got the drive, so they pack up and take this grueling 13-hour bus ride down to London, thinking, this is it, this is our big break.
But this is what they got. Just brutal. An executive at Polydor Records listens for maybe 30 seconds, cuts them off, and literally laughs them out of the room. He tells them point blank, we can't sell Scottish rap. You will never, ever make it. For Gavin, it was just soul-crushing.
So they're totally crushed, but they're not defeated. And that's when they have this light bulb moment. They realized the industry didn't care about their actual talent. It just wanted a story, a package it could sell. So in this moment of just pure desperate genius, they decided, fine, if you won't take us for who we are, we'll become someone else. Someone so fake that it was almost believable.
Yeah, that rejection, that was the big turning point. You have to understand, in the London music scene back in the early 2000s, Scottish rappers were basically a punchline. Their skill didn't matter one bit, their accents were a deal breaker. And that one humiliating moment, that lit the fire for one of the most elaborate acts of revenge the industry had ever seen.
And look, this wasn't just, a little image change. Oh no, this was a total identity transplant. Gavin Bain and Billy Boyd from Dundee, they were gone. And in their place, you had Brains McLeod and Silibil, two loud-mouthed, obnoxious skater punks who were supposedly straight out of California.
So inventing Silibil and Brains. This wasn't just some half-baked idea. It turned into this massive, intricate cod designed to fool the entire music industry. And it wasn't just about putting on an accent. This was method acting on a whole other level.
They built this new reality piece by perfect piece. First, they created these completely over-the-top personas. Then, Gavin tested out the accent, secretly sending a track to a BBC competition. And guess what? It won. That proved the concept could work. So they cooked up this insane backstory that they were mentored by Eminem of all people. And then they just went all in, living and breathing as Silibil and Brains 24/7.
Faking it, making it. And here's the absolute craziest part. Their insane plan started working almost overnight. The very same industry that laughed at them as Scottish rappers was suddenly falling all over itself to get a piece of these two Californians.
In no time at all, they were a full-blown sensation. Their live shows were pure chaos. They'd even chase each other with knives on stage, and it got them a reputation. They landed a top manager, Jonathan Shalit, and with what Gavin later called false confidence, they told him they needed a £70,000 advance. And he got it for them. Next thing you know, they're on MTV, partying with Madonna. They were the hottest unsigned act in London. And this was the number that made it all feel real. In 2004, Sony UK signed them and cut them a check for an initial advance of £75,000. The industry wasn't just paying attention anymore, it was investing serious money in a complete fabrication.
And the full deal was even bigger. That first chunk of cash was for 2 singles and an album, but there was another £100,000 waiting for them once the album was done. Two kids from Dundee had just completely duped a major record label out of a small fortune. Their Eminem backstory was so good, so convincing, that a label head actually said this to them after hearing them rap. The lie was just so bold, so specific, nobody even thought to question it. They just figured, well, it has to be true. And then, the story takes the most surreal turn imaginable. Their lie becomes a reality. Their manager calls them with news that's just impossible. They were going on tour with their best friend. Eminem's own crew, D12, had personally picked them to open their UK shows. They were about to come face-to-face with the one person their entire fake career was built on.
But here's the thing about a lie that big. It's a heavy, heavy weight to carry. After all those incredible highs, the non-stop pressure of being someone else 24/7 just started to take its toll. The whole thing they'd built was starting to crack.
I mean, look how fast this all happened. We're talking about a span of just 4 years. They went from being total nobodies, laughed out of an office, to signing a huge record deal, touring with their hero, and then losing every last bit of it in a spectacular crash.
And this was the exact moment it all fell apart. Just picture it.
They walk off stage after performing with D12. They are living the absolute peak of their dream. And their own lawyer is waiting for them. He'd found something that didn't add up, probably with their passports, and he'd figured out the whole truth. The game was over.
The fallout was just brutal. The constant pressure had totally destroyed them. Gavin's mental health took a nosedive, and his drinking got really bad. Their friendship just disintegrated into these violent fights. And finally, with a wife and a baby on the way, Billy just walked away. He went back to Scotland. Gavin was left all alone in London, completely broke, and staring down a massive tax bill. He hit rock bottom, even attempting suicide.
But the story does not end in tragedy. Actually, in a really weird way, the end of the hoax was just the beginning of their real legend. Because once the truth came out, the story became even more incredible.
So, in 2010, Gavin Bain just laid it all out there in a memoir. He told the entire unbelievable story of their rise and their fall. And that book, it put their story on the record, and it totally set the stage for a brand new chapter.
After the whole thing imploded, the two guys took completely different paths. Billy went back to a more normal life in Scotland, started a family, and began working on oil rigs, though he kept making music. Gavin stuck it out in the industry and eventually rebuilt his career as a musician and a writer, this time under his own name.
Their story was just too good to fade away. In 2013, it was made into this amazing, critically acclaimed documentary. The two of them even got back together briefly to finally release an album. And now their story is getting the full Hollywood treatment, a feature film directed by the actor James McAvoy. It's really cementing their legacy as, folk heroes of the music industry.
And that's really the question that sticks with you, isn't it? I mean, they lied, they cheated, they fooled everybody. But they did it because the music industry rejected their genuine talent for something as silly as an accent. It really makes you ask, in a business that's so obsessed with image and backstory, where do you draw the line between a clever marketing plan and an outright hoax?